The bus was overcrowded, loud, and smelled like a mix of dust and cheap perfume. I had just finished a long shift and honestly just wanted to sit quietly until my stop arrived. That's when I noticed the old man struggling near the entrance. He looked fragile. His hands trembled slightly as he tried to hold onto the metal rail while the bus jerked forward. People glanced at him, then quickly looked away, like helping him would somehow inconvenience their day. Without thinking much, I stood up and offered him my seat. If this video touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe. Your one click means the world and helps this journey grow, Red Heart. Sir, you can sit here. He looked surprised, almost like he wasn't used to kindness. He nodded slowly and thanked me in a soft voice before carefully sitting down. I moved toward the back, holding onto the railing, trying to balance myself as the bus hit another bump. That's when I heard a familiar voice. "Oh wow, look at you. Playing hero again." My stomach tightened. It was my sister, Alina. She was sitting 2 rows ahead with her friends. They were all dressed perfectly, laughing loudly, their phones out, documenting everything like their lives were some kind of performance. She turned around fully, her eyes scanning me from head to toe. "You always do this weird stuff," she said, loud enough for everyone around to hear. "Giving up your seat like some poor charity worker. You really enjoy looking small, don't you?" Her friends giggled. I didn't respond. I simply adjusted my grip on the rail and looked out the window. She wasn't done. "You know," she continued, shaking her head dramatically, "this is why you'll never get ahead in life. You're too busy helping random people instead of helping yourself." Someone behind her laughed. The bus felt quieter to me, even though the noise was still there. Her words weren't new. Growing up, she always believed kindness meant weakness. She thought confidence had to be loud, flashy, and constantly noticed. I used to argue back. I used to try to explain. But over time, I learned something. People who misunderstand silence often fear what they can't control. The old man sitting in my seat slowly turned his head toward me. His eyes studied me carefully, almost thoughtfully. There was something strange about his expression, not pity, not curiosity, something deeper. But he said nothing. Alina rolled her eyes when I didn't react. "See, he can't even defend himself," she said to her friends. "Exactly what I mean." I simply smiled, faintly, not at her, but at the realization settling quietly inside me. The bus reached the next stop. I pressed the button, stepped forward, and walked toward the exit. As I passed the old man, he gently touched my wrist for a brief moment. "Thank you," he whispered again, this time with a tone that felt heavier, meaningful somehow. I nodded politely and stepped off the bus. Behind me, I could still hear Alina laughing with her friends as the doors closed. I adjusted my bag on my shoulder and walked down the street, my expression calm, my thoughts clear, my decision already made. They thought they had won. They had no idea what I was about to do next. Life didn't change overnight after that bus ride, but something inside me quietly shifted. I stopped explaining myself to people, especially my sister. I realized some people don't listen to understand. They listen to judge. Instead of arguing, I focused on building my life silently. I started taking extra hours at work. The pay wasn't impressive, but it gave me stability. Every night after work, while most people were relaxing or scrolling through their phones, I was studying. I enrolled in online courses about business management and financial planning. Some nights exhaustion made everything feel impossible, but those nights also felt strangely peaceful. For the first time, I wasn't trying to prove anyone wrong. I was simply trying to grow. Meanwhile, life around my sister stayed loud and chaotic. Alina loved attention. Her social media was filled with expensive cafes, new outfits, and crowded parties. From the outside, her life looked perfect. But slowly, problems started following her. She changed jobs more than once because of arguments with her managers. She constantly complained about people not respecting her or understanding her personality. Family dinners slowly turned into her long speeches about how unfair life was being to her. I usually stayed quiet, listening without reacting. Months passed. One evening, after finishing a late shift, I received an email that quietly changed everything. A small investment group approved the proposal I had been working on for months. It was a project focused on improving assistance systems for elderly passengers in public transport. The funding wasn't huge, but it was enough to begin. The first thing that came to my mind was the old man from the bus. His trembling hands and quiet gratitude stayed in my memory. That moment pushed me to work harder. I started attending meetings, learning how to present ideas professionally, managing small budgets, and coordinating with transport companies. Progress was slow, but steady. I didn't talk about it much. I preferred letting results speak when the time came. Alina barely noticed any change in my routine. She was busy dealing with her own struggles. Her latest job ended after another disagreement with her supervisor. Slowly, her social media posts changed from glamorous outings to emotional quotes about betrayal and fake friendships. During one family gathering, she joked about me again. "So, you're still riding buses and helping strangers?" She laughed. Or, "Have you finally done something important with your life?" Some relatives smiled awkwardly, waiting for my reaction. I simply stirred my tea and replied calmly, "I'm working on something." She smirked like she had already decided it wasn't serious. I didn't explain further. A few weeks later, my project entered its testing phase. We partnered with a small transport company to introduce elderly assistance awareness programs. It wasn't public yet, but internally, it started gaining attention from officials. During one evaluation meeting, I reviewed passenger feedback reports. Among many printed comments, one handwritten note stood out. It thanked a young man who once gave up his seat and reminded people that kindness still existed. There was no name, only a date, the same week I had helped the old man. Around the same time, my team informed me that our program had attracted interest from the City Transportation Board. They invited us to present our progress at an upcoming reform meeting. It was a major opportunity, but I still told almost no one. At home, Alina continued arguing with our parents about her career struggles. The louder her frustrations became, the quieter my life felt. The night before the meeting, I sat alone reviewing my presentation while family group messages filled my phone with random arguments. I muted them and continued working. For the first time, I felt completely certain about my direction. Not because people were starting to notice my work, but because I had finally stopped needing them to. The transport meeting hall was full when our team was called to present. As I stepped on stage, I saw my sister in the audience. Her confident smile disappeared when my name was announced as the project lead. After the presentation, the same old man from the bus approached and thanked me publicly. My sister stood silent, her face pale. Later, she tried to apologize. I simply smiled and nodded. They thought I was weak because I was quiet. They didn't know I was busy becoming strong.